Okay, what are we gonna make today? What are we gonna make this week? I'm gonna do a brownie cookie and turn it into a s'mores cookie. So you have the option to just keep it as a brownie cookie, or you can take it to a whole nother level and do a s'mores cookie if you want. All right, follow along. Okay, hi everybody. Got my funky little island here. Okay, so we're gonna make some brownie cookies. These should be delicious, I'm hoping. And with the option to make them into s'more cookies, whatever that looks like. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, so this particular recipe that we're using makes a dozen brownie cookies, depending on the size that you scoop them. But let's follow the recipe. We're gonna start by softening 6 tablespoons of butter, or 90 grams, with your brown sugar and white sugar. I'm going to melt that. Then later on I've got my 2 eggs, my vanilla, and salt, and my cocoa that I'm going to use, cocoa powder. You can find some options online too for brownie cookies that call for solid chocolate as well. Okay. This particular recipe calls for chocolate chips. I don't have any on hand, so I might incorporate some chunks of chocolate. We'll see. And as I said, I'm going to make some kind of s'more cookie. So I've got some large marshmallows, which you could also make a meringue to make a s'more. We'll see if I do or not. And I've got some graham cereals. What are these called? Golden Graham Crunch. Haven't had these in forever. Anyway, or you could have some graham crackers you have in your cupboard. Okay, so we're going to soften this and see you at the next step. Butter has melted with the sugar, and it's not too hot, so we're just going to stir that. And with the electric mixer, we're going to beat for 3 to 4 minutes. So this is just going to put a bunch of air into the butter and sugar mixture. Going to make for a nice light cookie. Alright, so I've gone ahead and added my 2 eggs and vanilla to my melted butter and sugar, and use the electric mixer for another 2 minutes until it's nice and creamy and frothy. That is going to create that crackle on top. Now I'm going to mix in just for 30 seconds my cocoa powder, delicious cocoa powder, and some salt. I'm going to mix those two together and electric mix for 30 seconds, and then fold in my chocolate chunks. But I'm actually going to leave the chocolate chunks out because I'm going to have the addition of the marshmallows and the graham crumbs. So I think that will be lots, or the graham cracker cereal. Alright, so here is your brownie cookie batter, and we're going to put it in the fridge, and the reason for that is the butter is going to harden back up and create a stiffer cookie dough or cookie batter. So in this case, you could not use a vegetable oil because it wouldn't harden back up to a solid. So stick with butter, or you could play around with soft margarine, but it's not going to be as solid of a cookie. It'll have a bit more spread and be a bit more soupy. So refrigeration, then we're going to scoop it out onto a sheet pan and bake them. Okay, we're back, and our cookies are out. We have about a dozen here, brownie cookies, still kind of warm, but I'm going to keep some of them just as regular brownie cookies. If you like salted chocolate, definitely put some sea salt on these if you want to. I love that. I'm not a huge fan of marshmallows, so I'm only going to do a few s'more cookies. But for that, I'm going to do some large marshmallows, some Golden Graham cereal. I'm going to use my blowtorch. Remember to open the gas, it's left. To close the gas, it's right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Have some parental guidance or supervision if you use a blowtorch to melt your marshmallows. And you can even use some young sprigs of pine needles to put with your s'mores. They're edible, and add some great color, being an outdoor campfire type dessert. All right, so follow along. I'm going to torch 4 of these. Just soften up the marshmallows a little bit to begin with, just to stick them to the brownies themselves. Okay. And you can hold your torch back further to melt it a little bit. Alright. So that you don't end up with too much burnt marshmallow. I love a good crusty burnt marshmallow though. Got some flames. Keeps things interesting. Okay, then we can go in and melt the tops of them a little bit. You might technically be able to do this in the microwave too, guys. Give it a try. While it's still kind of soft too, you can take your graham crumbs and stick a few of those in there. Okay. If you want that extra crunch. Get them as toasty as you like. That nice burnt flavor will go well with the very sweet flavor of the brownie. Have a fire extinguisher close by. Okay. You can go back in and melt some more if you want. Okay, turn off your flame. More cookies, campfire cookies. Enjoy.